Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. My name is Artem and here is the news. 1021 days less the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Russia could again strike Ukraine with its experimental Oreshnik medium-range ballistic missile, reports Suspilne. Sabrina Singh, deputy spokesperson for the US Department of Defense, recalled that Vladimir Putin has publicly announced his intention to carry out another Oreshnik launch. Quote, "It's possible that Russia could do it in the coming days. I don't have an exact date for you." Singh said that if Russia doesn't launch Oreshnik, it will not be a game changer on the battlefield, but rather another attempt to inflict harm and casualties in Ukraine. On 28th of November, Russia fired an Oreshnik experimental medium-range ballistic missile on the city of Dnipro during a large-scale attack on Ukraine. Russian state-owned news agencies described this as retaliation for Kyiv's long-range strikes against Russian territory. The Pentagon says that the Oreshnik is based on the Russian RS-26 Rubezh intercontinental ballistic missile. Western leaders believe Russia launched the Oreshnik to send a strategic message to the West. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky believes that Vladimir Putin's saber-rattling with the Oreshnik missile is aimed solely at disrupting President Trump's efforts to end the war. Reuters informed that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has used his first meeting with US President-elect Donald Trump on 7th of December in Paris following the US elections to emphasize Ukraine's need for security guarantees in any negotiation process aimed at ending the war with Russia, reports Ukrainska Pravda. Reuters sources stress that the meeting in Paris between the three leaders, Trump, Zelensky, and French President Emmanuel Macron, did not cover specific details of any peace plan. However, the US President-elect reiterated his desire for an immediate ceasefire and negotiations to bring the war to a swift end. One source noted that Trump was friendly, respectful, and open during the discussions and appeared willing to listen. Nevertheless, Reuters highlighted that neither Trump nor officials close to him working on Ukraine-related matters have provided a clear answer on how they envision ending the war. Nor has there been any response to Ukraine's insistence on receiving security guarantees as part of any settlement. This has created a growing sense of uncertainty in Kyiv, further heightened by Russia's capture of new territories in Donetsk Oblast and its continued drone attacks on cities far beyond the front lines. Several officials close to Trump mentioned that he focused his meetings on building personal relationships, a key aspect of his diplomatic approach, and that ultimately he alone would decide the course of future actions. Macron and Zelensky were on the same page at the Paris meeting, but were careful not to seem like they were cornering Trump, one official said. The French leader and Zelensky worked in synergy to outline how they viewed the situation, while underscoring that without US support, it would be very difficult for Kyiv, the official added. Ukrainian sources cited by Reuters noted that Zelensky believes that out of all the international political actors, Putin fears only Trump and perhaps China. He also thinks any lasting peace will require Washington to be truly strong. Two other sources noted that Macron used the meeting to emphasize that Europeans have already done a great deal to support Ukraine and are prepared to share the security burden with the United States more evenly. We would really appreciate if you could recommend us to your friends and family, as well as share information on social media. This way more people would learn about the podcast and truth about Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Meanwhile, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban spoke to Kremlin leader Vladimir Putin for an hour via phone, reports Radio Liberty. The Hungarian Prime Minister announced the most dangerous weeks of the Russian-Ukrainian war. Orban added that they were taking all possible diplomatic steps in favor of a ceasefire and peace talks. President Volodymyr Zelensky has criticized this phone call. Quote, "We all hope that Viktor Orban at least won't call Assad in Moscow to listen to his hour-long lectures as well. It is absolutely clear that achieving real peace and guaranteed security requires America's determination, Europe's unity, and the unwavering commitment of all partners to the purposes and principles of the UN Charter. No one should boost personal image at the expense of unity. Everyone should focus on shared success." Unquote. Viktor Orban has responded to Zelensky's criticism by saying that the Ukrainian leader supposedly rejected Orban's peace initiatives, in particular a Christmas ceasefire and a large-scale prisoner exchange. Orban made no mention of whether he had proposed the initiative to Putin or what the Kremlin's leader's response might have been, assuming the proposal was made at all. Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Oleksandr Syrsky, visited one of the most complicated areas of the front line, the Pokrovsk front, and examined the combat situation there, reports LB. According to the Commander-in-Chief, it is vital to make unconventional judgments. Quote, "The combat is quite tough. Russian invaders throw forward all available forces in an attempt to break through our troops," unquote. He noted that under such circumstances, the first objective is to bolster the defense, particularly by providing forces with an adequate supply of ammunition and ensuring their regular provision. Meanwhile, Nazar Voloshin, spokesperson for the operational strategic group Khortytsa, informed that Russian forces have attacked Ukrainian fortifications west of Vidrozhenia and south of Novotroitske, both in Donetsk Oblast on the Pokrovsk front. As a result of prolonged battles, 2 Ukrainian positions were destroyed and 1 was lost. Ukrainian troops tried to return these positions. The US Institute for the Study of War says that the Ukrainian defense forces are facing intense attacks and a significant advantage of Russian troops in manpower and artillery, reports RBK Ukraine. They describe the situation in the Pokrovsk direction as critical. Analysts say that Russian maneuvers will allow their troops to reach positions approximately 6 kilometers from Pokrovsk. In the coming days, the enemy may try to surround Ukrainian forces in order to prepare an offensive on Shevchenkove. However, the enemy suffers very heavy losses, which undermines the potential of the Russian army to conduct further offensive operations. Thank you for listening to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast. We're a commercial initiative of just 2 people and we need your help to grow. Share information about the podcast, rate us in the app, subscribe to our Patreon. With your support, we are getting better. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.